Hello and welcome to the second tutorial. This is a favorite of mine, so we're going to work with the NACA 0012 airfoil. For this matter, it can be any airfoil or it can be a complete 3D geometry. We're going to work 2D. We already saw how to do that. Here we're going to get things 2D just to make things fast. But here I'm going to show you a few tricks, additional tricks. In the previous case, we covered a lot of material, and I hope you had time to revisit and play around with the different options to get a better feeling how things work. So what we're going to do, okay, we already saw how to do this and to in 2D, but here there is a very important trick that I want to show you. One regarding the background mesh. So far we have been generating the background mesh and so on, but we haven't opened the blockMesh. So far, let's take it as a template, that dictionary, but also I want to show you what happens when you can control the background mesh as we see here. But just to look at this slides also here, we're going to work a little bit with boundary layer, changing options, refinement. Remember in the previous case, we talked about adding an STL on top of an STL to do refinement. So here you have an explanation of this option. Okay, so be careful that needs to be done in refinement regions. It can be done on surface, but it's not recommended. We're going to revisit that. Snapping control, default option. So we're not going to look at all the different options here, just to stress that when you compute the image file, you use implicit feature snap. Then you have the option explicit that is done internally. My advice is always to use implicit one. Sorry, the explicit one. Okay. So if you're working in 2D, use this when you normally use explicit, that you use the image. Then everything controlled here and so on, how to do the 2D mesh. And what I want to address here is this, that we have seen that everything depends on the surface refinement in the background mesh. So it's usually, so far, or most of the time, you're going to have something uniform like this. So when you want to do refinement, remember you split the cells in 8 in 2D, or in 3D, or 4 in 2D, and that can take a lot of resources, a lot of memory, and sometimes you need to use large values now to resolve curvature. So what you can do is to add, for instance, stretching. So imagine that you're going to put a body here in the middle, and you're going to use for each case the same refinement. So here you use a refinement of 2, the curvature is not very well resolved. Here it's much better using stretching always in blockMesh. But adjusting illustration in blockMesh is not very easy. Sometimes also you have tricky geometry, so it's not very straightforward, but it's an option. But again, it's strongly recommended to have everything use uniform spaces. So there are some other techniques. This is what I do most of the time, that you can add refinement. So there is a dictionary, no refined mesh, that you can do something like this, but it's limited to very uniform regions, no square, rectangle. Then if you want more flexibility, like adding circles or generate shapes, there's these other techniques that we are going to use. But look at that. What we have is this exactly same refinement at the surface, but look at what happens when you control the dimensions close to the body. So remember, you have a base background mesh, but all the refinement, the surface refinements, is controlled by the cell next to the surface, not when you intersect that surface. So see here that if we're using a refinement of 2, okay, it works, but it doesn't resolve very well the curvature. So if you want to get something like in these cases, you need to increase it to 4. And if you do it, you will realize that it will use a lot more memory. Okay, also it's much slower, and it kind of tends to be difficult to control. So this is a way to do it, do the stretching. So this is what we're going to work, but also we're going to work a little bit in the boundary layer to show you a few tricks, so some additional files, how to voice things like that. I'm going to show you some tricks that you can control, but this is one, and this is the main deficiency in snappyHex, is the boundary layer. So it's not a perfect technique. I can make it work, but be careful now that sometimes your quality metrics might not be perfect on a specific quality metric. So this is what we're going to do. And also, just to remind you, we're working with OpenFOAM 12, And as you go to the documentation here, snappyHexMesh, now they have a very decent documentation and so on, but here you have many options. So as you're looking to the quality metrics, okay, so I mentioned that I'm going to talk about just the most important ones. So as you recall the slides, and let me go back, for instance, previous tutorial. Okay, here I just pointing to the most important entries. No, this one, then there's one in boundary layer, two parameters. So I'm not pointing to everything. Maybe from one here and there we point to something else. No, so these are the most important in my experience when it comes to boundary layer to control some small problems. Again, try to reproduce all these results. Maybe you're going to have some problems boundary layer collapsing. So with this video, you can go back, revisit, and try to fix some of the problems that you were having. So you have the documentation for the foundation version, so all the options on explanation there. So here we're going to play with some of them, but also you have the .con. Okay, .con is slightly different. So remember, these are two branches, and they're slightly different. When it comes for snappyHexMesh, the guys from .com, they added more options. So kind of you have more control, but I think it's more confusing because you have too many options, too many things together. So if you read both documentation, you will see differences, but the general keywords that we're going to work with, okay, are common between both of them, both versions. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. That we have here a short introduction, and in the next video now we're going to get our hands dirty. Again, also we're going to work with the geometry. So the final video, I'm going to show you how to do the geometry. But we're going to start already. The geometry, everything was generated in onshape. So I'll see you next video. Bye.